Good morning. I am very pleased to be here today. And let me start by, again, thanking Hubert and the Africa Investors team for putting this event together, which is sponsored by IFC InfraVentures. And we have lots of expert project development, infrastructure specialists and executives here, and certainly have a very distinguished panel, and I'm very pleased to be moderating this panel. So what I propose to do is that I'm going to ask a kind of general question to the panelists, and after the first round of questions, we will go to the audience and get questions from the audience, and if there are no questions, I have a few follow-ups. But before I get to that, let me again say that I'm Alain Ebobissé. In my current capacity, I am the global head for IFC InfraVentures, which is the project development outfit of IFC and indeed the World Bank Group. We operate globally with two regions of focus, Sub-Saharan Africa and Asia. In Africa, we are very excited to be active in the project development arena in Sub-Saharan Africa. We've had a few successes, but also a number of challenges, and I'm sure we will discuss both successes and challenges today during this conference. One of the successes that I'm very proud of is the power project in Senegal that we have developed, helped finance, and now the project has achieved commercial operations. So we went through the full cycle of developing, financing, and building the power plant. The power plant is now delivering power to the population in Senegal. And in fact, the government is so happy that they've decided to award an additional project to the same team, and with an expansion of the power project. But we have also a number of challenges that we're facing. I think one of the projects that we are co-developing with Aldwych in Tanzania is one such project that is going through some challenges, and maybe Ellen will talk about it. But project development is exciting, but also very challenging. So finally, I'm transitioning out from my role at IFC InfraVentures to take over Africa50 as the Chief Executive Officer. This is an investment platform that is set up by a number of African governments and the African Development Bank. So another challenging assignment, but quite exciting, again, in the infrastructure space in Africa. Okay, enough about me. Let me now turn to the panel. And I think just one or two words before I get to the questions. Look, we all know that Africa has been facing some headwinds. I think you may have seen the latest estimates from the World Bank and the IMF in terms of the slower economic growth in Sub-Saharan Africa in 2015, talking about 3%, 3 to 3.5%. When in 2014 the growth was much higher, 4.5% plus. So we also see a number of security concerns. So there are a number of headwinds. I'm going to take questions from the audience, but I'm going to throw a number out there and see how people react, because as an industry, of course, there is no one number that one size that fits all, but some ranges of what developers should expect to make. I think it's important that we communicate some of those principles so that lenders will not always be there fighting us back as developers. I've heard that for this project development business to be successful, one has to make, of course, the money back, plus maybe 1, 2, 3 times maximum, potentially, in terms of the development premium. So I want people to comment on that, to see whether this is outrageous or this is reasonable or not. And the development fee in terms of percentage of project cost, people are arguing 2 to 3%, maybe 4%. What is it that people actually feel comfortable putting forward without disclosing the actual negotiation that they have? Now, anybody in the panel can actually take that question, but let me also see if folks on the audience actually have questions. Otherwise, I have a couple of questions that I could actually continue to ask. All right, so let me ask this question on the developing premium. Anybody in the panel could take it. But also I'd like to ask a question on how to actually manage the lenders. Because many of you spoke about the difficulty of the financing process, especially on some of the large projects, but also for the small project. And I think, Brian, in one of your projects, QIPP, you very, very focused on reducing the number of lenders, and this probably is one of the lessons that you learned maybe from Azura. So let me ask the two questions. What is the appropriate range of development premiums, and then how to manage those lenders? Anybody in the audience, in the panel wants to take? Okay, Ellen, why don't you start?
We often are told that the metric is about 5% of total project